Hello, good evening, everybody. Thank you very much for joining me. Lovely to see you all here. And many of you that are here will have already seen these because I just wanted to show you before we go to today's YouTube live. I wanted to show you what we were doing for live yesterday. So we had an online workshop with a great group of crafters, some experienced and some not experienced, some brand new beginners, some just refreshers, whichever. And we were using the For the Love of Masks, which is a Hunky Dory product, and they had the layering stencils, which we all had great fun at. And I'm sure if you are a member of the Facebook group, you will already have seen some of these, which are really lovely. And I thought I'd just bring them in to show you. Obviously, these are the ones I made because everyone else made theirs at home. But we made 3 cards and using the same stencils, but it was amazing to see these beautiful designs pop straight up to you with the layered and really easy. So nothing too sort of complicated. 4 stencils in all, making such lovely designs. So that's what we made yesterday. That's the same one, but with different colours, as you can see. And then we also made a 5x7 version. So with the square, we just trimmed it down and chopped it in half, which also I think looked really, really nice, with the lovely font, which is again one of the For the Love of Stamps, that one is, but again by Hunky Dory. And then we also made this one, so everybody got a pre-cut frame set, and we made this lovely design as well. So again, slightly different colours for this one as well, and everyone received a flower trio die as well. However, you may notice if you look very carefully, yeah, we introduced to our group early the gorgeous torn stitched square 6 EasyFrames. So exclusive to us, nobody else has got them in the whole wide world, and we have got them here. So they are designed in the same way as all of the Maximumcrafts EasyFrames are, in as much as there are 2 dies, an outer one which peeks and shows the inner side as well, and then the inner one as well. This one has got a torn sort of edge on the outside and then plain on the very inside. So the other bit of green here is plain, but then in the middle we've got this stitched both sides, outer and inner. It's designed to fit onto a standard 6-inch card, and therefore you will be able to see that little white border all the way around. It obviously will also fit onto a 7 and an 8 and anything bigger, but that is what it was particularly designed for. So it is a standard sort of size-wise. If you have already got the plain square EasyFrames 6, then they will intermatch. So if you wanted to have a torn edge but a plain piece in the middle, you just use the plain inner frame from the ordinary squares, etc., etc. So that's what we've got on offer. But if you recall, we were doing backgrounds. I couldn't even think of the word. So excited about this to show you that we were doing backgrounds. So they have, of course, all dried, and we have got some lovely backgrounds to work with. And of course, I'm going to be showing them off with the frames, which I have already pre-cut. So I've already gone for this one. So you can see here, let's bring in the dies so that you can actually see them and know what we're talking about. So you've got the outer die here. So that is a solid bit of metal. Not going to bend, not going to warp in your machine, no matter what your pressure is. You've got this torn edge, but then a plain edge, and that will cut you out this. Okay, so that's your first frame, and in that case I cut it out in black. And then in this case, with the stitched and bit inside, which gives you stitched on the outside and on the in, I've cut this one out of antique gold, which is sort of like a matte gold really, but it's called antique gold. So I've cut that, pre-cut that one out to go onto there. And then on this one, I've gone for the same combination as we had, more or less, as we had yesterday, which is the torn outside, plain inner for the big one. And that's going to go on my sort of greeny coloured here. And then I went for an ivory stitched piece because I thought that that looked quite nice with the ivory rather than the white. And let me show you what I've got to go with them, because I just love these new selections of stamps here. Just grab hold of them all. From Andy Skinner at Creative Expressions. Now, you may have seen these because they've been on the telly this week. They were launched last week, this week, whichever you like to call it. And it's just my cup of tea, these are, because I love to see detail in stamp, but not to have to do much with it. It lends itself to having things done with it, but at the same time, you don't have to, which is why I produced the background so that we could work with them. But they are lovely. They are a pre-cut rubber stamp, so not a clear one. I'll show you how you use them a little bit different in your stamping platforms. And they've also, all of them have got a separate word or sentiment, I should say. And I think they're just lovely. This one is sometimes all you need is a hug, which is lovely. Then you've got these little boy and girl, and it's let's go fly a kite. So again, it's the two, but with a separate bit there. Nowhere to go but up. Little boy sitting down there with a little balloon and a few birds and bits and pieces. Let your dreams take flight. A very thoughtful little girl sitting on the side there with her balloon. Friends forever. Oh, I like that. I like all of them. I couldn't decide, so I had to get all of them. And you may well see me using them a fair bit because I love them. So just a plain ink and you're done, but you could, of course, watercolour or whatever. Love the sentiment on this. Oh, the places you will go. What a lovely sort of graduation card or new job card, even if it is only a little boy. I just think that that would look really, really lovely. Best friends with a little dog there. Best friends come in all shapes and sizes, apparently. And I reckon they're probably about right with that. And then finally, I'll be your umbrella. So again, a little girl with an umbrella there and a sort of very arty type of background. It literally is as if someone's actually sat there and drawn it, but of course it's all done for you. So I'm going to make a couple of cards for you today. So let's pop some of these to one side. I've forgotten to bring in the one. I'll show that one in a minute. I've already done one with this one on, so I'll bring that in a second. But I think we'll do Let's Go Fly a Kite first. So as I said, it's two littlies. And when I take the stamp out, let's take out the sentiment as well. You can see that it's this rubber. So it's grey rubber and it has got like a pre-backing. So you must take that off and then that will, it's not sticky, but then that will allow it to stick to your stamping platform or your acrylic block. And the same with this. It's got that pre-cut, but then we've got to get rid of that bit. Okay, so going to bring in my stamping platform obviously for this, and because I'm not going to be colouring or doing anything, I am going to use my VersaFine ink, which is a pigment ink for fine detail. That's why it's called VersaFine, and it will then pick up all of these little bits that we would like it to do. And this one is an onyx black because I want to stamp it as sort of a silhouette-ish, and therefore, as I said, I've picked my black outline frame, which I think just looks lovely. Now I will need to, I think, trim my if you recall, I cut all these pieces out to 14, I think, was it? Yeah, 14 by 14, but I want it to be nicely inside it, so I'm just going to first of all trim a little bit off so that it's more like 13 by 13, to just be sure. I'm not actually going to measure it. I'll go off for a bit for that bit. So I'm just trimmed a little bit off because I don't want that to be on there. Now, when I put this down here, I want to bring in my frame so that I can judge where I want my image to be. So making sure that my frame is going to cover all of that piece of paper. I then want my image, and I'm going to bring it down a little bit because I don't want the kite to be flown off. I want it to be there. So let's bring that in there. So just going to be able to then position this in such a way that my kite will be up in what I would call this bit, the sky, which is sort of the blue bit. Let's bring that down so that you can see that a bit clearer. And my bit down here is fine if I just leave it there. I'm just going to hold that into place while I remove the frame. And then I can keep these in place. I never know which way round they're supposed to go. But there you go. So I'm going to hopefully not knock the camera. I'm going to pick that up, but didn't do it, did I? I need to remove my rubber piece of mat. So I need to just check that's in the right position. I forgot to do it. So my stamping platform is like most people's in as much as it has a removable rubber mat. And that is because mostly we're using the clear stamps now, and they need a little bit of cushioning in order to stamp properly. But with these rubber ones, they have already been, they've already got their rubber on them. So subsequently, we want to make sure, just checking that that's, yeah, I think that's going to be straightish. We want to make sure that that is in the right place, but it's got that sponge there, so we don't need this bit. If you leave it in by mistake, you'll find that you basically can't shut the door, shut this platform up. So that's what we're going to do. So VersaFine and it's in the black because that's what I prefer to do. I'm inking it up. And I've got quite a wet ink pad, that one. So whether I need to use it a second time or not, I don't know. But this, as you saw, is the first time that I've used this stamper tool. And I just love these images for the fact that they're so versatile. They fit in, you know, when you don't want a birthday card. Oh, look. You don't want a birthday card. You don't want a get well card. You just want a whatever card. And this is one of those cards, I think, or many of them from here. I am going to do it a second time. Just remember, I did this on watercolour paper, so it won't take the stamp quite so well as if I was doing it on smooth. But we can do it for as many times as we like. Just beautiful. So I'm then going to take that out of the way and remove that because I'm going to use another one in a minute. And I don't want to put any marks on it. So let's just take this off carefully. It will be a tad wet, as I said. So that's because of the ink that I'm using. I've got myself a 6x6 craft card blank. And we'll put this frame together. So let's do that. So as I said, antique gold for this one, beautiful stitched edge. But this one is just the torn edge with the torn edge outside, not inside. Guess what? Calamity. Calamity. I knocked my wonderful glue gun on the floor yesterday just before I was starting the workshop. And when I picked it up, I had broken or damaged, I should have said, not broken, damaged the nozzle. So luckily, my lady's told me that you can get spare nozzles, spare fine precision nozzles. So I have sent off for such a thing. And hopefully that won't be long before it's on its way. So hence, I managed to find that instead. So I'm going to put that centered first of all, but I might need to move it. Oh, is it just me? I just love that. Love it. Now, what was the... I can't remember now what the stamp was. Because I think... Oh, let's go fly a kite. Wondering if... That way round. if we put it up there. Or even up there. Or not at all. Maybe not at all on this one. It would go up there, but I think maybe not at all. So I am going to stick this in place. So that's why I did all of my all of my backgrounds. Now they're all ready to go. They were just sitting there, all ready to go. I'm going to pop that. Let's find out whether I'm going top folding. I didn't know whether I was or not. Pop that onto there. Now I'm going to bring this in, and I have got some black tape. So I'm going to put black tape onto there just so that it's all the same really. And then pop it there. I just realised that I'm not looking what you're saying. I've completely... You found a voice trouble. Oh my goodness. Check that you've not got part 2 open. Hold on. I don't even know what you're saying now. Sorry, I wasn't even looking. June, are you talking to me or not? Sorted. I've learned something now. Oh, June's sorting. It's all right. June's sorting Francis out. That's all right. That's what we're all here for. Thanks, June. Glad you're sorted, Francis. Glad you are sorted out. So, as always, we could do more to this. Obviously, I've made the background and everything beforehand, and it would have taken a bit longer to get it all to dry and everything, but there we are. Beautiful stamp, lots of detail on it, and yet I didn't colour anything, as you saw. That's the sort of stamp we like, isn't it? I mean, I do love... sorry, I can see that June had answered me. I do love stamps, and I do love detailed stamps, but sometimes, I don't know about you, if I've gone to think, oh, I'll colour that in, I've then, in my mind, ruined it. So I wish I hadn't bothered. But if you've got a background there, it looks lovely on craft card. So this card, stamping it straight on here, looks lovely as well. And I didn't want to put it on a white card because I wanted to have that same sort of neutral image there as well. So that's Let's Go Fly Kite. So I think we need a hug now, though. So I'm now going to take my other one. Now this is the one that I wiped, if you recall it, wiped the ink pads across it and then splattered and did a little bit there. Still on, of course, watercolour card. So therefore it does not stamp as well, if you see what I mean. But I've got another one there that I'm going to do that will. So I've gone with the green. That's the moss green, and that is the ivory. Put those two together. And on this one, I'm going to go, as I said, with Needing a Hug. We could all do it with one of them, couldn't we, eh? So pop that in place. That's all you need to think about with the frames, and have much more fun like we did yesterday with all of the stencils and things, of actually doing the bit in the middle. So that's our outer frame, but this is our stamp that we want to, stamped piece that we want to. And again, obviously I haven't put the corner bit back in there, the rubber corner mat, and I'm going to go for this little one. So a little girl holding her head, and it says sometimes all you need is a hug. So again, take off the backing. It just peels off. It isn't sticky, but it is enough to sit onto a stamping platform or acrylic block. Now, let's see. I think what I might do is just, hold on, grab a piece of, looking for a piece of card. Wait a minute, as if I haven't got any. Just want to try it out on here. So I'm not quite sure. Let's go like that. Let's get our frame so that we can check that if we were to put it in like that, all would be well. So that's fine. I just want to check how it's going to come out. So pick that up, but I'm going to take this out for a minute. And this time I'm actually going to use VersaFine Claire in Shady Lane green, just because everything else is green, and why not? So just the Claire is also a pigment ink, a non-blendable, I would suggest, pigment ink, but it stamps beautifully as well. So I'm just going to press that down. Oh, look at that. Oh, it's so lovely. Yes, it does lend itself to be colouring, but yeah. Do you know what? Another thing. Now, let me grab another piece of card. That's not a flat piece. I want a flat piece. Why can I not find a flat piece of card? Here we go. I'm going to put that in. Just wanted to show you something else with these. If I was to take this, I'm going to wipe that Claire ink off. I don't want that on there just for the minute. I'm going to go back to it, but just for a minute. Let's put the inks on here. I'm just going to use a mauve distress ink, a Seedless Preserves. I think it's quite a nice deep colour, so I'm just going to try this. It's quite an old ink. I think that's about 12 years old. So I can see that I'm going to have to ink it up a second time because it's not taking it quite so well. So let me just ink that up a second time. And why I'm doing it is because if you did want to fancy doing a little bit of watercolour but weren't quite sure where to start, this sort of image is perfect for it. So that is your Seedless Preserves Distress Ink. Grab myself an aqua brush, which is also the colour needs to be run through. So let's do this because I'm absolutely thinking as I go along there. That's it. That's cleaned it off better. You just need to pull some of the water down so that the water is coming out of the tip again, preferably clear. And then just pick up and blend and let that ink run. So all I'm doing is adding water to this image. I'm not going to be particularly bothered about keeping within the lines because the whole image is distressed, and to be honest I can't quite tell where I'm supposed to be going and not supposed to be going because of the distressed look. So I'm just pulling those colours down. I'm going to go over ahead. I'm not going to smudge any of it. I'm just keeping it within the lines. Go over the Ted's head. I'm only adding water that's in here, not doing anything else. I'm not squeezing it, so not a lot is coming out. And then you can see that just by adding water to the ink, which was the distress ink, I have then coloured it a little bit, and that would be equally a really lovely finish as well. Such a beautiful image to work with. However, we digress, don't we? Let's bring in that let's bring in my cloth just to take the distress ink off, and then pop my VersaFine Clair back onto it, and then go with my green onto my green pad here. Now, because it's on watercolour, as we said, it might not be such a clear image the first time. We might need to... Oh, look. Oh, God. Sorry, I just love it. I love it. I don't need to do another one on there. Just beautiful. So simple. So simple. Let's take you off. Clean you again in a minute. Oh, no, I'll tell you what I did want to do. Right, pop that to one side. I wanted to get my frame. Now, I should have done this before. Now, I want to put this sentiment on, which is sometimes all you need is a hug. And I want to put it onto my frame. And I think that I'm going to put it down on this sort of corner. Now, the only thing is I need to make sure that I have got it round the right way, which is like that. And try my best. Now, because it's not a very wide frame and sentiment, some of the bits are going to hang over, but I think it will still be worthwhile doing rather than putting it onto that. So I'm not on watercolour now, watercolour paper. I'm on ordinary card. Look, such a clever design. If you like stamping but you don't like actually colouring and you just like a finished article, looks as if you've done it anyway. Can't be bad. Let's grab a card blank. And pop this on. Now I think I'm going to have to trim this piece of paper. And it kind of says it all, doesn't it? You don't need any more than just saying sometimes you just need a hug. So I'm just going to trim that down a little bit. I think I'll trim it from that top and side. So yes, we have launched our next frame set then today, which is the ideal for a 6-inch card blank or bigger, and it is the torn on the outside, stitched on the inside square. So let's just put that in there, that on there, and we are done. So that's why I did all my frames. I think all of these would look lovely, all of the stamps that we could use. You could always, of course, buy paper pads that have a similar sort of look to this, and they too would look really lovely. Turn it over, pop a little bit of tape on it, and that's done. Of course, you don't need to put tape on it, and for that matter, you could put tape on both layers, both of the torn outer piece and then the stitched inner piece. And as I said, if you've got the square 6 plain ones, of which there are still some available, you could always intermatch the 2 sets because they were designed to work together like that. Pop a little bit of glue on. And there we go. Make sure my words are around the right way. Oh, I've gone for top folding, didn't know that I had. Just as well I put it around the right way. And there we go. Sometimes all you need is a hug. And that's that little lady. And then this is Let's Go Fly a Kite. So in the same idea, and as I said, with the beautiful frames, which we've now got. Now, they are proving very popular, I can see, which is fantastic. So thank you so much for supporting me, as always. I will be able to get some more when these ones sell out. but they won't be in for about 3 weeks, partly because I will be away and partly because the manufacturers are on holiday as well during that time, which looks as if I've organised it quite well actually, because they're away whilst I'm away, so that's good. But yeah, so there will be some more, and but obviously, you know, we've got to sell out these ones first. So I do hope that you've enjoyed watching this evening. I hope to be back on Wednesday at 6 o'clock. I will let you know if I can't. We are going away for a couple of days, and the intention is that we'll be back sort of mid-afternoon, but just in case we get caught up, I will let you know. But that's the plan, that I will be back at 6 o'clock on Wednesday, which will be the 1st. Yeah, 1st of May. Gosh. And then next Sunday, which is the 5th of May, will be our monthly card kit. And just to remind the people that are subscribers to the card kit, you will be getting an email with all the information and your invoices through tomorrow / Tuesday, just a little bit later this time. So you've got till Thursday to say yes or no, basically, to ensure that you've got your card kit going to be winging its way to you before anyone else has, and to be sure that you've got it. And as I said before, it is going to be a charity combination one. I will be donating money from every card kit to charity. So I'll explain all about that next Sunday at 6 o'clock. Hopefully we will all of us, be here on Wednesday at 6 o'clock as well. But whatever it is, have a great week. Let's hope the weather cheers up a bit, especially as I'm not going to be here and needing it to be nice. And I look forward to seeing you again very, very soon. Thanks very much. Bye.